Hiya folks, JD here, and today we've got this. This is the Syma X21, and it looks really quite nice. It's a lot bigger, it's a lot fatter than its predecessor, the Syma X20. Now that nanocopter blew me away. It was so stable, it flew like a much larger quadcopter. All in all, I thought it was absolutely fantastic. So as soon as I saw this guy go live, I bought him. He's got some massive shoes to fill as this guy, but I'm hoping he can do it. So what are we looking at? Well, we've got a couple of good features in here. Unfortunately, this is not the camera model, otherwise there would be a nice little camera inside there. But we do still have automatic takeoff, automatic landing, altitude hold, as well as 3D flips. So there's a load of different features inside this guy. Okay, so what about the transmitter? Well, the transmitter is a pretty standard Syma transmitter that we've seen many times before. Obviously, it has quite a nice little shape to it. It does hug your hands really quite nice as you are flying. I find these transmitters really, really good. The original one that came with the Syma X20 was excellent. I didn't think it was going to be. It was a brand new style transmitter, but I was blown away by how good it was. I hope in this guy is no different. If we go by some of the other Syma quadcopters that we've flown with similar transmitters, I think we're going to be just fine. So with that, let's take her up. Alright, so let's pop her on, and then let's pop on and bind using standard up and down configuration on the left thumbstick there. There we are, so we're all bound, all LEDs are nice and solid. So let's use the automatic takeoff, and up we go. Beautiful. So it flew up to about 1/2 meter and then just stayed there. Obviously altitude hold is not GPS lock, so we are going to still be looking at this guy floating around a bit. But to be honest, on this really cold day, he's not doing too bad. He seems to be really, really quite stable. So let's take him up, let's fly him around a bit, and let's see how he handles. Wow, that LED in the front, that white one, is really bright. To be honest, the two on the back, the green, and are much easier to see than the two red on the front. Don't know if it's just because the quadcopter is red itself, and therefore it's kind of detracting a little bit from the lights, perhaps. But still, first impressions, just flying around in a circle and then flying in a zigzag formation. This guy is, well, he's sticking to the same altitude without any issue. I'm feathering him up and down a little bit, just to see how he handles as I manoeuvre him. And to be honest, he's at first impression seems to be really good. He seems to be no different flying than the Syma X20. If anything, actually, what I will say is that he seems to be a little bit quicker. The Syma X20 on speed mode 1 was extremely slow. Let's try speed mode 2. Speed mode 2, wow, this guy kicks into life. Absolutely. And he really does fly. Now in speed mode 2 he did dip a little bit there, but we have got an excessively cold day today, so it could have just been that maybe the barometer couldn't read correctly. So, all in all though, yeah, this guy seems to be quite good. Do we have a third speed mode? We don't. We have two. We have speed mode 1, and then we have speed mode 2, which you just activate just by pushing down the right thumbstick. Haha! Yes, mate. Fair play. This guy turns really, really well. Stops really well, and then continues without any hesitation. So if I just fly him around by me for a second, a couple of quite easy maneuvers just to see how he handles, and I don't think there's any issue. I don't think there's any issue there at all. Look at him go. Okay, so what I would like to test out automatic landing and see how that goes. So let's bring him back to me a little bit, and then let's push. Oh, there we go. Very slow. So push the the right front shoulder button. Oh, there we go. And that was quite nice. Yes, he feathered a little bit toward just before he landed. But he landed, and he landed really gently, and more to the point, all these landing sprigs are intact. So that's 1 point to the Syma X21 versus its predecessor, who currently has 0 points for that, because its predecessor completely knackered up these landing sprigs on first landing. Okay, let's try the automatic takeoff again. So let's pop him on the ground. Automatic takeoff is this top shoulder button here. When you first click it and the motors just spin, I couldn't hear them, they're so quiet. Now I do believe these motors are a little bit louder than the Syma X20, but that is not something that I mind with this guy, just simply because he is a lot more powerful. Or at least he seems to be a lot more powerful. I have to check to see what the motor configuration is of this. But yeah, he certainly seems to be chewing up this... is that battery already? Oh, I have been running it on speed mode 2, so that is going to chew into the battery time. Let's pop it back to 1 and see whether or not I can try and see if I can squeeze a bit more time out of this guy. But it's nice because I didn't see the red flashing LEDs on the front of this guy, but I certainly did see that white flashing LED. So that's one major downside, I think, is that the two red LEDs at the front you can't see. Not very well. The two green at the back are very bright, likewise the white one at the front is very bright as well. Okay, well, so far this guy has really done really well. I'm really quite happy with it. It is an exceptional flyer. I mean, as you can see, he is so straight, so true. He doesn't falter when he flies. Absolutely not. In speed mode 1 and or 2. Let's put him back into 2. Let's give him a little bit more speed just before his motor's cut out. So it is quite nice with this particular quadcopter that you can get to the battery, unlike the Syma X20, which is behind a screwed case on the bottom of the quadcopter. This guy, the battery does come out, and it really is nice to have that. Because at least you have the option if the battery does die because of multiple flights. Oh! Let's try automatic takeoff. No, nothing. That's it. We are dead in the water. As I was saying, it is nice to have this battery visible and accessible, just so that if you do decide that you want to replace it because the battery itself is knackered, then you can do so, and with quite some ease as well. Alright then folks, let's get a verdict on this guy. So what do I think of the Syma X21? Well, to be honest with you, I think it's just as good as the Syma X20, and that is a good that is good praise, because the Syma X20 was the first nanocopter that I flew that I actually enjoyed flying, and that didn't seem to be a chore to fly because it just flew so well. It glides through the air without any issue whatsoever, and this guy does exactly the same. Now I do think this guy is a little bit more powerful, mind you, so that does go a long way, because the other guy just was powerful, but only when you got into higher speed modes, whereas this guy, speed mode 1, doesn't seem to be that much of an issue. Speed mode 2, obviously you see the front of the quadcopter dip quite considerably, and it's off, it's gone. And yeah, I think that's really good. It's good to have two speed modes where there's a lot of difference, but speed mode 1 has got some power. I do like that. Now, altitude hold was, well, absolute perfection in my eyes. It's -1 here today, and I often see a lot of feathering with the quadcopters as the barometer reads multiple different pressures going round, and it didn't with this. It just stayed at the same altitude. I was feathering it up and down to see if I could make it shake or anything like that as it was going round. No issues. Flew around in a zigzag formation, flew around in a couple of ovals, couple of circles and a square, and once again no issues whatsoever. So I would highly recommend this guy, and I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of this guy in the future videos. Alright then folks, so thanks ever so much for watching and listening. I've been JD, you've been fantastic as always. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Hello and welcome to all the new subscribers. I hope you're enjoying the channel. So until next time my friends, happy flying.